Hey there everybody, and welcome back to more Silent Hill Downpour. Well, we have now finished all the side quests, and I think it's actually time to just get the hell out of town. So let's hop on to Freedom, and kiss this sorry town goodbye.
You gotta be kidding me.
Did you really think it could end like this?
After everything you saw back there, everything we've been through, you think going back to prison is all that's at stake here?
We're not going to Wayside.
What are you saying?
Turn the boat around.
Are you out of your mind? We're free. When we reach the opposite shore, I'll go one way, you can go the other. It's that easy.
We've got unfinished business, you and I.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, and honestly, I don't care anymore. There is no way in hell I'm going back.
It wasn't a request.
We've both just been through hell. Haven't you been paying attention?
No, you haven't been paying attention. You think this is all an accident? Just a big coincidence? This town, it knows me. It showed me things. It wants me to finish this. Don't you understand? It'll never let us go until we finish what we started. What you started.
I told you. I'm not going back. You might as well shoot me.
Fine.
How's it going, Murph? Heard you're gonna be leaving us soon.
What do you want, Sewell?
You weren't thinking of leaving before you paid back my favor, were you?
Napier.
What am I talking about? Of course you're gonna keep your end of the deal. You're a real stand-up guy, Murphy. Parole report says so right there in black and white. A model prisoner, right? Sure would be awful if they found out about what you did to that child buggering bastard, though, wouldn't it? I mean, shit. That would ruin everything, wouldn't it?
What do you want me to do?
What you're good at, of course. Ridding the world of monsters. I got another one for you.
Who is it?
Don't worry yourself about the details, Cupcake. Just take out the garbage like you did before and we'll be square.
When?
There's gonna be a little disturbance tonight. The other guards and me are gonna have our hands full, so no one's gonna notice when you head down to the showers and find your guy waiting there, just like last time.
And then?
Oh, I think you know what comes next. Unless, of course, you're thinking of breaking our deal.
And this other guy? He deserves it?
Oh, Murph, you have no idea how bad he deserves it. Hell, I only wish I could do it myself. So, what do you say, Cupcake? You gonna play ball?
I'll take care of it.
Born free.
Welcome home.
Murder's a mortal sin. You go to
Is a
hell
long,
for murder.
treacherous
You don't recognize me, do you?
So often the answers are before us, Murphy.
Doesn't matter what you
When
want.
we allow ourselves to see them.
And just like that, it seems that we have come full circle in Murphy's story. Granted, this time we're not in Ryle State Penitentiary. But instead, we are at the Overlook Penitentiary in Silent Hill. Definitely seems like this place has seen a bit of sour use over the years. Definitely not been kept up to scale. But in case you were wondering, we have been taken off of all of our items. So no more healing, no more bullets, no nothing. Which is quite the shame. I really wanted to get more use out of that demon statue. But that does mean that we are actually in quite a bit of danger in case any combat does happen to pop up. So we're just going to have to keep our wits about us as we make our way through the penitentiary. Now, as you can probably tell, since our attention was brought up to this beam,
I might be able to cross over on this.
that is very true, Murphy. You just have to be super careful because it does look like quite a bit of a drop. Yeah, I still have no idea where Mrs. Cunningham might have come from. We haven't seen her for quite a bit of the game. And as to how she managed to sneak aboard the boat without Murphy noticing is quite honestly a mystery. But we did get a little bit more of the backstory regarding Sewell, and probably by this point you can put two and two together as to whom he wanted taken out.
Perfect. I need another key card.
Actually, I don't think we've gotten any key cards, so... Still just jarbled messages on the radio, but since we do have to look for a key card, that does give us an opportunity to explore and hopefully pick up a few more items.
That might come in handy. But how do I get the damn thing open?
Yeah, we do get the opportunity to pick up a shotgun, but before that, it seems that it's locked up. And we get a little bit of a puzzle presented to us, along with plenty of additional mysteries to give us more backstory in regards to, well, maybe other prisoners that were at Ryle State Prison, or perhaps more about Murphy himself. It's kind of hard to tell. The game leaves it pretty ambiguous with the names marked out. But here we do get back our But we do manage to get back not only our flashlight, but the key card that we need. But I think before we go through that door, I really do not think an axe is enough for us to get through this area, and we want to figure out this little safe puzzle. So by hacking away at these boards, we do see a lineup of criminals, and we notice in particular that Murphy is in the lineup, but, well, the numbers are missing off of his little chalkboard. Thankfully, we do happen to be wearing the uniform I guess he was wearing at the time, and all we have to do is enter the numbers off of the uniform into the safe combination. Really not too difficult of a puzzle, but it can be easy to overlook the fact that Murphy is indeed adorned in numbers. And not only do we get a small key for the gun lock, but a random quarter. Not actually sure what we're going to be using that for, but I get a feeling we'll find out later. So we are now packing heat and at least have a melee weapon, though we do have to be a bit frugal considering we don't have any additional shells. But overall, the Overlook State Penitentiary is a pretty straightforward area. It's not too difficult to just find your way around. It's all pretty much a straight line. But there are a few side rooms, such as the cloakroom. I'm not actually sure if prisons actually need a cloakroom. I mean, overall, this just seems to be a changing room for the guards. But there are a few lockers to look around in and get back our incredibly useful walkie-talkie. But even with the dilapidated environment, it's at least nice to get back to the theme of imprisonment that, to some degree, has been kind of lacking in the game. Sadly, the return to form doesn't really stop the game from some pretty unnecessary cat scares. I think overall it does a good enough job on its own setting up the mood without having to settle on cheap tactics like that. But it can be kind of annoying at times to try to find all the mysteries in the game. Some of them are in very, very out-of-the-way places. But in this case, we do get a little bit of an additional backstory in regards to a prisoner at, well, what I assume to be Overlook. Seems that he is not very happy about his situation here, and the guards are a little bit more aggressive than probably necessary. It only leaves me to wonder what the actual state of the Overlook Penitentiary was whenever it was maybe less shitty. I mean, the overall prisons that we've seen in the Silent Hill series have not ever really been up to code. Whether they've been horrible death traps that have normally been located in the middle of the lovely Toluca Lake and all of its blood-filled history. And while initially it may seem there's not anything in this room, by moving aside this bookcase, we do find a rather conspicuous looking poster. And behind it we find another letter from Ricky to his lovely lady, who I assume is lovely. Just going more over some of the ordeals he's had to go through. I guess some of the prisoners kind of feel that he is a snitch. Whether that's an unwarranted accusation, well, it's never really gone over. Also, I'm not really sure what happened there. I think this particular minion had not actually triggered yet, so my swings were just nonchalantly going through him. And I really can't overstate enough that at this particular point we are entirely out of medkits, so you do actually have to be pretty careful when it comes to these enemy encounters. In fact, if it really comes down to it, it's usually a better idea just to run. Now, if you did come down here and suffer through those enemy encounters, you could pick up a handgun, but really you're going to get a lot more mileage out of a melee weapon in these situations. You are going to see later that we will definitely be needing a ranged weapon, but really the pistol just does not measure up to the shotgun at all. Yet again, just ruining a really nice little set piece with an unnecessary cat scare, but in this solitary cell, after having just seen Murphy, we do find an incredibly depressing little piece of mystery here. It's actually our first ever mention in the game of Murphy's wife, Carol. Not too much has gone into her character or what happened, but needless to say, she wasn't really happy with what happened to Charlie, and she seems to really blame Murphy.
Carol. Where did they get this?
Which really leaves into question what really happened with Charlie. And say hello to our final new enemy of the game. Yeah, this guy is known as a prison Juggernaut, and he is so annoying to really deal with. He does a tremendous amount of damage. He will sometimes ignore damage you're doing to him, and he honestly takes so much to take down. I heartily recommend never ever facing him with a melee weapon, because it will just go very, very badly for you. And as you can see, I am probably down to about 20% of my health and looking in a very bad state right now. I do think that I might have overlooked one med kit earlier on, but if you haven't gotten used to the combat at this point, well, you might be in a very, very tough spot.
This door must be open from somewhere else.
Yeah, if we want to be getting out of the prison, I'm assuming the checkout zone will be the way to go. And I'm getting just a very lovely feeling about this walkway. So with a Juggernaut hounding behind us, the real danger actually lies ahead of us, as those electric wires will actually do about 50% of your health in damage. Thankfully though, there is a little bit of a weird design choice. I'm not sure if it's an actual bug or not, but whenever you do reload a save, it actually restores all of your health. So if you are ever in a dire situation that you don't have a med kit but you do need to heal, well, just go ahead and die and you'll be perfectly fine. But it's not too hard to get past the electric wires. Sadly is not the case for our Juggernaut friend. But it might be a good idea to go ahead and shut off the electricity there, just to make our way getting back a little bit easier. Also, sometimes it's hard for me to tell what is an openable locker and what is just a surface texture. I will say one thing about this area, that I am very happy they don't make you look for multiple key cards. We actually do get quite a bit of use out of the small little key we got for the gun locks. And we also get quite a bit of use out of this nice gentleman's access card. Oh, was that on before? Well, might as well push it, I guess. Might be for that door. we do have a few more items that we can get out of this room before we leave, such as some very, very needed medkits. And additionally, we find a very out-of-place dresser with some bullets and another mystery. Just goes in more into regards of a child murder. Really kind of assume that's about Charlie, but I don't know. There's really not much gain from that particular piece of documentation. Ah, fuck you, game. Just, you... I honestly love the setting, but the cat scares so unnecessary. But we do have our next little puzzle here. It's really not too hard to figure out. Basically, we do need to get through the checkout area, but as you can assume, they normally didn't want prisoners to come through fully armed with fire axes and shotguns, so we will need to find some way to cross the line. First, though, we do want to loot and pillage anything nearby. Also, we get a little bit of a backstory about the sordid history of the Overlook Penitentiary and its many disappearing prisoners and horrible deaths and suicides. Yet again, the Overlook Penitentiary isn't really brought up anywhere else in Silent Hill. I think it was made specifically for Downpour. Even though I'm trying to remember the prison used in Homecoming, and I just honestly can't be forced to remember that game. And in case you really needed it, we do get a map for the prison. Seems pretty straightforward, not too many areas to go through. No real direction though as to where we invariably have to go.
The guards can pass their sidearms through that window.
Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and place all of our items here. And we can now safely make it through the checkpoint. And we'll just go through the somewhat tedious task of picking up everything individually. Yeah, I'm getting a sense that this is going to be a shotgun moment. And say hello to one of the most difficult combat situations you will run into in this game ever. Now, one prison minion, not so bad. prison minion and another one with a shiv, somewhat doable. A Juggernaut, 2 prison minions, you're gonna get damaged a lot. Not to mention the camera and the close quarters really don't help things, but, well, hopefully you've been saving up those shotgun shells. 'Cause as you can imagine, the situation doesn't go too well when you're armed with just a fire axe. Realistically, you could run away from the situation, but given this general area, as you'll be able to see, you don't really have too many areas you can run away from and keep yourself away from these minions and Juggernaut safely. Also, we do want to explore all these very important prison cells. We do get the final resolution of the Ricky and girlfriend situation. He hangs himself. Honestly, some of these mysteries just seem like a lot of padding. I'm not really certain why they felt the need to do that, but I don't know, maybe they had to meet some achievement quota. But otherwise, the rest of these cells are very vacant. No mysteries, nothing really to catch our attention outside of another mirrored prison cell we've already seen with a... maybe this was the suicide wing. I don't know. But in case you needed it, you can get a replacement fire axe here. Also, I'm wanting to say this is a good place to get horribly ambushed in case you start running around like a headless chicken. But that familiar light in there is indicating that there is a UV light waiting for us. And as you can probably tell by the keypad, we are going to need to be figuring out a code somewhere. Before we get to that though, we can operate our axe on this wooden planked doorway. And we can get a med kit. It does seem like there might be more to this grisly operating room, like maybe this wall monster might suddenly pop up, but somehow or another they were able to control themselves on the cat scares and not. But in the workshop area, we do have quite a bit of machinery, obviously for the different handiworks and crafts of the prison. Anywhere from making a spice rack to a nice set of license plates, the Overlook Penitentiary can probably do it all. Also, there are a few scattered weapons here and there, but for the most part, it's probably best just to stick with the fire axe. But really, this is all getting us set up for the puzzle to figure out what the door code was. First things first, though, we do need our forensic flashlight. And we already know Ricky's dead. I don't know what this could get into us, but, you know, another page in the book, I guess. But before we leave this room, there is a very easily missed number that we need to look for, which is on the ceiling. Yeah, the first time I played through this, I did indeed miss this number. It's really, really easy to overlook. But all we have to do is follow these footsteps around the workshop, and it will lead us to each number that we need. So we see here that our good friend, Mr. Coleridge, was looking out for us yet again, saying that we should probably become a part of the work release program.
Never stopped trying to help me, did you, Frank?
Yeah, let's go ahead and turn this off. Yeah, if you really felt inclined to be deafened, you can keep these machines on, but really there is honestly no point. The only thing it does is make it very easy for you to get jumped by these prison minions. As far as I can tell, they will always trigger whenever you happen to have these machines turn on automatically, so really no way to get around that. Alright, so we just have, I think, one more number that we need to get. And there we go. We now have the 5 digits necessary to open that locked door. Just a, I don't know, a simple little puzzle, not too difficult.
Damn, I'm gonna need the code.
Guess I really just need to get one more use out of the forensic light before the end of the game. But there doesn't seem to be too much in here. Except a closed-off room of danger. We could pick up another quarter there, but we already have ours. And you might be questioning why they would be giving us a quarter in this particular closed-off water-filling room. Why? It's because we're going to be using for a quick makeshift screwdriver. And we get a graphic depiction of what I assume to be the violent life inside of the US prison system, and I guess the comparisons we can make to whether or not it's truly a monstrous other world, I don't know. Either way, we do have a few more prison minions to deal with here. And normally what they expect you to do is to try both of those key card slots. Only one of them will actually work. But if you do have enemies still alive, it will actually cause the doors to open incredibly slowly, so it becomes a race against time to try to survive, and well, really that's only if you're as bad at combat as I am. Really though, shotgun. Nothing but shotgun. I mean, I will at least say that I'm happy they did manage to shove in another enemy type before the end of the game. It is a shame it's just a larger prison minion, not really stretching their imaginative legs, I suppose. But I will say that outside of all the cat scares, I do really enjoy the ambient noise as they get across in the prison. Makes you really question at times what is actually something running up behind you and what is just a ambient sound in the background. So we see yet another letter from Frank Coleridge, kind of condemning Sewell for incredibly questionable behavior. And as we have pretty much gotten the impression from Sewell, well, I don't think those are unfounded accusations. But we do find what is, I think, the final jukebox or boombox of the game. Just adding yet even more layers of audible flavor to the game. So we get a nice replacement to our fire axe. And the game being annoying, so fuck off. And I really can't overstate how very appreciative I am that they really decided to just shower us with shotgun shells at this point, because I can't even begin to imagine having to fight juggernauts with melee weapons. Speaking of which, But we are coming very, very close to the end of our journey in the Overlook State Penitentiary. And just like whenever we started the game, it's all coming to a head in the showers. Now, initially it may seem like there's not too much going on in here, but upon closer investigation, we find that we've stumbled across a crime scene. Is it a crime scene from the Overlook State Penitentiary, or is it something closer to home for Murphy? One final thing waiting for us over here in the locker.
How's it going, Murph? Heard you're gonna be leaving us soon. You weren't thinking of leaving before you paid back my favor, were you?
Hey, who's there?
Who is there, Murphy? Who is there?